Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Nick here, and welcome to my reaction to Doctor Who Season 2 Bad Wolf slash Series 15 slash Season 41, Episode 1 The Robot Revolution. Okay, so time of recording, it's hitting 10 o'clock in the evening. We watched this on broadcast as opposed to earlier when it was on iPlayer. So, the Robot Revolution, and I've deliberately not gone and looked at anybody else's opinions so I can focus on my immediate reaction, or, well, 2 and a bit hours later, um, for the episode as opposed to, and I'll go and listen to other people's later. So, this episode, I think, was a very good way to start the series. I'm not saying it's one of the strongest episodes of the era so far. I think it's stronger than most of the episodes from last season. Um, but I don't think it's amazing. I think it's a very good episode. Like I said, made great. Lean to the 8 out of 10 score at the moment. But yeah, it's great. And to be honest, hearing the non-spoiler reviews going in, it sounded like it was going to be good, or at least okay, but not amazing. I mean, and fairness, to be honest, I was kind of going in expecting it's going to be a solid, good episode, but it's a needed just goodness before we get to the amazing stuff later, like Lux or The Well or the Interstellar Song Contest. How good those following 7 episodes are going to be, we will find out as we go along in the next following 7 weeks, or following 8 weeks, depending if they have to delay Interstellar Song Contest a week to the following one because of the scheduling. But yeah, so Robot Revolution. Yeah, I think it's definitely better than the last series opener and better than series 2. So it's definitely already RTD's. It's not one of his weakest 2. It might be third to weakest of his 6. But series 1, 3, and 4 had really great openers. And yeah, I mean, I'll have to stack it against the other ones for the rest of the revival and so far, for the full list. But in terms of Russell T Davies ones, 4th out of 6, which is much better than last series, which was 4th out of 5 in my opinion. But the gap was a bit bigger between that and the next one up, which I'd probably say would be Rose. And then Partners of Crime, then Smith and Jones is my favourite New Earth, least favourite. So yeah, this one's definitely stronger than Space Babies. I'll go more into plot details and spoilery stuff in the review, which, by the way, update on that. We're actually going to be bringing those sooner on because Universals, we actually decided 2 days ago actually to do them within a week or two of the episodes release. So they'll be done within the week or two after. So change of plan. You're going to be getting the reviews on this channel in such similar time to match that. Because I'm definitely going to be doing Lux next week's at the very least. So yeah, so update on that. Yeah, this was a good one. Really good mix of practical and visual effects, which is great. Belinda is great character. I really like that she isn't taking any nonsense either from the Doctor or from the robots. Especially like the little bits of dialogue that she says to some people. I just like, yeah, that is really great. And even when she's being kidnapped, she's thinking of her folks, but she's not really like she's still keeping herself kind of composed. Her personality is really great. It's a shame we don't get to see too much of her before the robot capture her. But it's still good to see a bit of her life in the hospital working as a nurse. Although it is interesting that we got another medical profession companion here, played by a person of an actor who is I want to say black, a coloured actor. Um, Following a companion whose name began with R and had blonde hair. Yeah, we're kind of repeating things again. I wouldn't be surprised if a companion from a Christmas special who the next companion, if season 3 is made, is a character from a Christmas special, and the character is one fans really like. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Anita did come back and become the companion for season 3. I would not put it past them. Or season 4, if we got those. Yeah, because history's sort of repeating itself a little bit. Or at the very least, very similar to Series 1, 2, and 3, RTD1, because Belinda has been given some Martha comparisons, like how Ruby was with Rose, in terms of those factors. In terms of the personality, though, and the character direction, she's more like Tegan from the classic series and Power the Doctor, and that is great. It's because we get to have a bit of conflict with the Doctor as opposed to the happy-go-lucky relationship that he had with Ruby, where they had hardly any conflict. So it'd be interesting to see them bounce off each other here. Yeah, they're still going to be friends and they're still going to work off each other really well, but I do like that the tension, or at the very least, the kind of like, there is going to be some clashing, is going to work really well here. And I think something that we didn't have last series, and I think this series it's going to balance it out a bit more. Also, interesting that we got the returning actor, Radha Safu, up here, who was in Boom back in something also similar to Martha Jones. But yeah, this story was, yeah, it was good. I don't think it was amazing, but again, it's a good start to the series. I mean, you don't need the series openers have to be good, but they don't have to be the greatest stories ever. They just have to get the audiences on board for the rest of the series. Which is where I think some stories like Magician's Apprentice / Witch's Familiar, they kind of fail, while stuff like Rose, Smith and Jones, The 11th Hour, even Woman Who Fell to Earth to a lesser extent, even though I think that's a really great episode, it's in terms of keeping the audiences on board for the series. I think those ones work stronger than, say, stuff like Magician's Apprentice, which kind of alienates the viewers. And I think this episode does a really. I think with last series, the problem was that Church and Ruby Road was the reintroduction, and the 60th specials to a lesser extent were the reintroductions to the world, and Space Babies were just picking up where we left off, similar to New Earth in series 2. Here, like Smith and Jones in series 3, we're doing the reintroduction to the companion, so we're kind of having another jumping off point, and I think it works really well in establishing and showing off her character and how she's going to work with the Doctor and other characters. And I like how she's more concerned with the injured people because she's a nurse, and she's going to try and help them, much like how Rose was more. She connected more with the working class characters more than, say, the big aliens or the in End of the World War, the posher blokes in Unquite Dead. She'd always talk to more of the servants and janitor staff. So I think I like that we see something similar with Belinda, where she's more focused on helping the injured rather than trying to solve the mystery as much. But yeah, there is a good some good twists and turns in the story and some good stuff. The mystery of the Belinda's star certificate is still yet to be revealed. Whether that's because of a particular thing that's going on, as we find out at the end, or because they just haven't got around to it yet, is to be seen. Hopefully we'll get some really good reveals later in the series, because last series, whilst I was okay with the final twist on Ruby's mother, I think it soured a lot of people because of what the build up to it. And I still stand by my theory concerning Mrs. Flood that I mentioned in the review that I did on Hoons. I stand by my theory I mentioned there regarding her character, and since her character's now going to be apparently popping up in every episode of the series, just like Susan Twists, playing several different characters in each episode last series. But this time it's Anita Dobson as the same character, supposedly. So, considering that, and that the season's going to bring absolute terror to the Doctor, an even bigger big bad than Sutekh, then yeah, hopefully, yeah, we'll get some of those answers and stand by that theory until it's proven otherwise. and if I'm proven right, then I'm gonna basically do a massive yes, I fucking told you to in the review of the last episode or episodes. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I told you, sort of a thing. Okay. But yeah, so I'm not really saying too much about the story at the moment, mainly because I don't want to go into too much spoilery details, because these are trying to not be that much spoilery, and also then like a bit more opinionated, a little bit more discussion-ish on those that go more into plot details, etc. Yeah. Oh, by the way, for the people who are kind of getting a bit tired of the Doctor crying in nearly every episode, it's not every episode because he doesn't cry in every one. I think at the very least 73 yards and the giggle, if you count that. I heard he apparently does in Devil's Core, but that must be like a very brief one. Apparently, when he finds out about Maestro being a god, so I guess that must have been a very brief one. But I think every other episode he does tear up or get very emotional at the very least. Besides Giggle, 73 Yards, and Devil's Cord, maybe, but I have heard some people mention that one as that he does in there. And yeah, he does it here as well. So those keeping score, you got another one time in one episode added. Although in fairness, he did lose someone he did really like. We didn't really know them that very long, but because the Doctor was there for a longer period, then he got to know them quite well. So I kind of understand that. Although once that character was saying such lines of, "Oh, you said you were going to take me with you," etc., then I'm like, "Oh God, you are dead." Some point during this episode, I didn't expect it to be that quickly. Although I kind of suspected it might happen, like literally the few seconds later. I mean, it's sort of kind of the case of, okay, definitely know you're probably not going to make it. Are you not going to make it out of this scene, or are you going to knock off later on the episode? And it was that scene, so yeah, although that scene was quite a bit of a bloodbath. I say bloodbath, they all got turned into skeletons and then disintegrated. Which means the robots have a very similar way to killing as the Daleks, but are less cruel about it. Or at the very least, in terms of when they zapped them, the skeletons showing, at the very least. Although with the Daleks, that's when they hit and then the body falls down. But yeah. Anyway, so, and also there's a funny robot. There's a little cute funny robot as well to kind of ease off some tension with the bigger robots. Whether that will get on people's nerves or not, I'm yet to see. I wouldn't be surprised if they either became fan favorites or one people got annoyed of, or both. I wouldn't be surprised. Also, Nick Briggs does a great job at voicing the robots. I think that's my other bit of critical point, apart from what I mentioned earlier with the effects and how it looks as well. It is very well directed and really great acted as well. Yeah, so overall, Robot Revolution, a good start to the series. I don't think it's one of the greatest episodes ever, and it is a bit of a kind of a. It's not the great. It is a bit of a strange one in places. Yeah, and yeah, a few kind of like okay moments, I suppose. But for the most part, it's a solid start to the series. Not an amazing start. It's like again, it's no 11th Hour. It's no Woman Who Fell to Earth. It's no Smith and Jones. It's no Partners in Crime, Rose. Impossible Astronaut was an incredible part one, even though Down the Moon let it down a bit. So it's not like that. It's not as good as that one. But yeah, it's better than last series' opener. Better than New Earth. Better than A Sign of the Daleks, The Magician's Apprentice. I think kind of might be maybe leaning towards somewhere in the middle for the overall series 1 to 15 ranking of everything from 2005. So again, sort of leaning in the middle with that. I sort of did that with Space Babies last year, but this one's gone up a bit more. Might be rivaling Spyfall. And also Deep Breath. Yeah, I think this one will go over Deep Breath, whilst I think Deep Breath just above goes over Space Babies. So, yeah, this is definitely one of the stronger later ones, I would say. But okay. That's it at this point in time. I'll get back to you later in the week or early next week with a review of the story after seeing it again, thinking about it and discussing it. And then next week, we will be reacting to my most anticipated episode of the series, Lux, which is the one I will be reviewing on Hoons after it airs. So, yay, I'm looking forward to Mr. Ring-a-Ding. Oh, yeah. Like I said, this is the episode we have to introduce Belinda and have a fun sci-fi episode that shows off her character and gets her introduced to the world, etc., etc. And then next week we can do something a bit more interesting, a little bit more unique and fun. And then the week after that, which I know a lot of other people are really looking forward to, The Well, is the sci-fi horror episode. Again, something really interesting that we can do something fun with. And then Lucky Day after that is basically the Dr. Light Ruby Sunday focused episode of the series, like 73 yards last year, plus a bit of sort of unit focus in advance to their spin-off later this year. So yeah. What was the title of the 5th episode? Damn, I can't quite remember that one's full one. But that one's looking interesting as well. Interstellar Song Contest, which is literally the episode titles as well. That's looking really fun and interesting. And then the finale, ooh, creative and dark, possibly. Absolute terror on our way. Yeah, this will be interesting. So we'll see what those are like. But stay tuned for the reactions and the reviews coming soon. In the meantime, thank you for watching this reaction to Doctor Who The Robot Revolution, the start of Bad Wolf Season 2, Series 15 of the Revival, and the 41st season overall. I'll see you guys next time for either the review of this episode later in the week, or this time next week, the reaction to Episode 2, Lux. See you guys next time. Goodbye.